Hi, good morning. Good morning. How are you? I hope you can hear me okay. I'm being a little quiet because I'm in a cafe down here at South Bank or Southgate in Melbourne, and there's a few people around me trying to enjoy breakfast. G'day, Kate, Ashton. Kate, honey, can you hear me okay? Vasaruni, hello. How are you? Beautiful. Great to have you here. Happy Friday. G'day, Michelle. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing to join me. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, just because I'm being respectful of the space. Hi, darling. Great to have you here. Hey, Tay. Good morning. Happy Friday. Type in one word to describe how you are feeling right now. What is one word to describe how you are feeling? How awesome Vass was, Erica from America's emotional video yesterday sharing your story, honey. We'll be doing the same or similar next week when you launch, my friend, so watch this space. Luke, good morning. Tay, g'day. Great to have you here. Hi, I can't see who's on Facebook yet, but when it loads, I will wish you a good morning. So type in one word. How are you feeling? What is one word? You know what I'm just present to right now? There's people arriving, there's handshakes happening, people are meeting, and they're going to be talking about stuff, whether it's business or life or finance or holidays or relationships. Hey, Brooke. And, isn't it amazing that we, just now, just randomly, I'm present to the beauty, optimistic, awesome, good energy, good, look, unreal. We literally create our world through our words. Think about it. Someone once just said, let's create this thing called a cup and let's make this thing called cappuccino. Let's put man on the moon and safely return them home, said JFK, when NASA didn't even have the technology. So I'm in a cafe here. People are meeting, they're going to be talking about stuff, and they might be talking about things that they want to create in their future, and then they'll take the actions to create it. That's just what struck me right now as I'm watching people arrive and shake hands and meet and greet. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Marcus. Great to have you here. So what are you creating for yourself? What are you talking about? What's the quality of the conversations you're having with yourself in between your ears and your head and with the people in your world? The people that you spend your time with. Hey, Jasmine, thanks for the love. If you haven't typed it in already, one word to describe how are you feeling? How are you right now? I am feeling extremely grateful. I had an amazing photo shoot with my friends at Prod House, Vass and James, some of the best production peeps on the planet. They're my cherished friends, dear clients, and saviors when it comes to styling and all things photo shoot. Thank you, Vass and James, for your support in helping me relaunch a new brand, and Pina for hair and makeup, and also Neil Wakefield from Indie Film Studios for filming a little bit of behind the scenes. We're going to be launching my new brand in a couple of weeks and working on some really awesome online content for real estate professionals around the world. Leanne, how are you? Beautiful. Welcome and good morning. So thank you. I love you guys. You are the best and the bomb. And Vass, let's actually do an interview with you. I think let's do an interview with you if you're up for it, to talk about what you're creating with your beautiful rose spray. Would you be up for that? Let me know. Hi, Michelle. Amazing crew. Yeah, they do a good job. Now, I'm sorry, I still can't see who is on Facebook. I'm assuming, Greg, that you are there, my friend. So Rapid Fire Fridays, where I reflect on the top coaching themes for the week and just basically share what are the themes and what are some of the coaching that I gave my clients that hopefully you too can benefit from. So here's one of the first things. One of my clients is a principal. He runs a business. They're number one in their area. Great, Vass, let's do it, honey. Let's do it. Let's talk a little bit about your story. Let's talk about what you're creating and what you hope to do with it, and let's see if we can get Gwyneth Paltrow on the line. So one of my principals, here's the pattern that happens. He missed out on his quarterly target by 30,000, and when we started the coaching session yesterday, he goes, "Look, it's okay because I'm going to add it to this quarter." And the fact that he was just okay about it, he was okay. $30,000 shy of hitting his quarterly goal. And I just called him on it and said, what is that about? Why you are so okay with it? Because there's a goal that you want to achieve with this. So what's really going on here? And long story short, what we got to distill was one of the reasons why he was $30,000 short is because he didn't spend as much time prospecting, listing and selling in his own individual business as a listing selling agent. He spent a lot of his time being a principal, supporting his team and making sure the business was running. Now that needs to happen, but he did it at the detriment of his own business. He knew what he was doing and he knew he was giving his time away. So he was unconsciously and consciously sabotaging himself. What we got to uncover when we did some subconscious clearing yesterday was when he was a little boy, his mum used to say to him, don't be selfish, don't be selfish. And he felt that he was never achieving good enough goals or results for his mum. And so there was always this, I'm not good enough, I've got to do better, and I've just got to make her happy, because if she's happy with me and I'm a good boy, then, you know, she'll love me and we'll be connected, and then I'm whole. And what we got to establish is this guy is over 50, and what's been running his show is the little boy in him that is still trying to please his mother. Now, as a peak performance coach and an NLP trainer and practitioner, I have to tell you that you and I have little girls and our little boy inside of us that is making the decisions for our future. I'm 47 and my little girl kicks in and she's trying to make decisions and drive the, you know, Ferrari of my life. And so he was just in the session yesterday and all these pennies were dropping, and he had quite an epiphany. He got to see that what was actually going on was he was sacrificing his own success to fulfill, to be a self-fulfilling prophecy that he's selfish and he can't have what he wants, and what he has to do is make other people happy first, because when he makes other people happy, then that equals love and connection, which gives him the experience of wholeness. Does this make sense? By the way, if you're watching this live, can you please type in live? And if you're watching the record, type in the record, just so I know when this is actually connecting with you. So yesterday we looked at, well, you know, the definition he had of himself was his belief of himself was he couldn't have what he wants. So even though he'll work hard, even though he'll put in the hours, Jasmine's saying 100%, thank you, Jasmine, even though he's doing the work, he will always subconsciously sabotage himself. Thanks, Michelle. Because he has to be right. We have to be right. Good morning, Sherry. Great to have you here. Hey, Just Two. Great to have you here too. Sherry, congratulations on all your sold out events across the country, your Women in Breakfast, you know, your breakfast series and Male Champions of Change. Absolute rock star. Thanks, Leanne. So we have the little version of ourselves that is constantly running the show. And even though you have a heart's desire to fulfill your potential, and as Sherry would say, you know, live your best life, you have to know that there is a little part of you that will unconsciously sabotage your success, because it has to be right about the limiting beliefs that are driving and guiding your decisions, actions, and therefore results. Does that make sense? So my client yesterday got to see he's had a core belief that he doesn't deserve to fulfill his dreams. He doesn't deserve to achieve what he wants, that he needs to be a people pleaser and put everyone before himself. And what was really going on under the hood of his subconscious mind was he was trying to keep his mum happy and she was telling him he was selfish. So yesterday we worked on creating a whole new definition for himself, because here's my belief as a coach: strategies do not work. If you are giving someone a strategy for success over the top of a disempowered definition of themselves, it's like icing over a poo pie. It won't work. What we have to do is go from a disempowered definition to an empowered definition for ourselves. I'm sorry, I still can't see all of you that are on Facebook because it's still loading, but I can see all your emojis coming up. So thank you for the love. Let me know if this is actually making sense with you, and if you're watching this live or record, type in live or record. So we will have all these self-sabotaging strategies, and a strategy won't work. We have to change the definition. So yesterday with this client, we shifted his definition from I'm selfish and I can't ever have what I want, I've got to make others happy first, to I am, you know, he's now choosing to see himself as fulfilled and empowered, in control of his own destiny, and purposeful. Because we also distinguished an area of his life and he was on freaking fire and smashing his results and really, you know, top of his game. And who he was being when he was at the top of his game was fulfilled in himself, very focused and in control and purposeful and empowered. And he had lost that love and feeling. So if you are falling short of achieving your goals, if you are consciously or subconsciously sabotaging your success, I promise you, you're operating on top of a disempowered definition, which is typically, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the table, which is typically created from disempowered beliefs from your childhood. Who are you trying to please? On point, real deal talk. Yes, just did, what is it? Just to did for? Thank you. You know, the reason I am alive is because I just want to give people access to be happy and deeply fulfilled in all areas of their life right now, fulfilling their potential right now. And if there was one message I have, it is you are the creator of your destiny. Like I said at the beginning, at this cafe I'm at, people are sitting here meeting and talking about things they want to create in their future. And they're either going to take the actions to fulfill on it or not. Too many of us are, as Elvis would say, let's have a little less conversation and a little more action. We talk the talk, but as Tom Panos often says, our video doesn't match our audio. Reflect today. Where are you talking about what you shoulda, coulda, woulda, gonna, donna do, and where are you not taking action? So really wrapped from my principal client yesterday that had a massive breakthrough in shifting a decade paradigm of people pleasing, wasting time, sabotaging his own success because the little boy was driving the bus of his life. Share with me, what are you hearing for yourself inside of this? What can you hear, and how are you unconsciously sabotaging your own success? And if you were to reflect, who are you trying to make happy? Whose love do you crave? Is it your mum? Is it your dad? Typically as kids, we seek 100% love and nurturing from the feminine, from our mother, and we seek 100% acknowledgement and praise from the masculine, from our dads. And if you didn't get either, you will be looking for it in other areas of your life, and you'll be filling voids through overeating, through alcohol, through drugs, through sex and rock and roll, through overspending. This is why I want to move on to this next piece. Being selfish is actually a good thing. I've said this before. I was watching a video of Oprah the other day when she had a whole bunch of beautiful men graduating from a program that she initiated. And she was speaking to them about their birthright is to be selfish, and distinguish selfish, which I'm a fan of, as full of self. Too many of us are focused on seeking validation and people pleasing, so we don't fill ourselves up first. That's why the metaphor of give yourself the oxygen before you give anyone else on the plane the oxygen is critical. We, even in relationships, people say, oh, he or she is missing part of it. I don't believe in that philosophy. I need to be responsible for being a complete jigsaw puzzle before I even play in the toy box of life. Because if I have empty pieces and I'm relying on my partner to bring me happiness, to make me feel loved, to feel make me feel sexy, to make me feel worthy, then I'm giving them the responsibility for that. That's a big deal. So being selfish is critical. Now, it's very different to self-absorbed. I'm not talking self-absorbed. We know what that looks and feels like, and we can all be that at times too. But my invitation for you today is get selfish. Be responsible for filling yourself up physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. How do you do that? Start asking yourself, what do I love? Like, what do I love? What lights me up? What would I do even if I didn't need to get paid? And spend more time nurturing and loving yourself. As they say, martyrs die young. So big message today is be selfish, not self-absorbed, but definitely be selfish. Okay, another theme for my clients this week was really looking at how they can just become more effective with their time. I am doing those, screenshots of checking people's calendars, make sure they're utilizing their ideal weeks, but also we spent a lot of time this week unpacking the 3 steps to real estate success. Raising your standards. Hey, I was totally a good girl, hard to break boundaries. However, validation to be me in my own wisdom. Boom shakalaka, that's like $1 Million Baby boxing, thing. Just say lots of love to you. Thank you. We all do it. And that, in 2019, that distinction is rife when you look at social media and Instagram, which is why Facebook and Instagram have removed the visibility of likes, because there's an epidemic of seeking validation and addiction to dopamine and serotonin whenever you get the ding that there's a notification. So we all do it. We are hardwired to seek validation. That's why we don't put ourselves first. We need to be selfish. So if we go back to those 3 steps for real estate success of raise our standards, simplify our strategies, and elevate our state, I spent a lot of time this week in this simplify strategies. Most of you watching this will have CRM systems, will have tools, resources, templates, and things to help you be more efficient. But here's what I know. When we go under the hood of many of your systems, processes, and procedures, you're probably not using them to 100% of their capacity. So let's use CRM system as an example. One of the top CRM systems in Australia is AgentBox. I'm not sponsored by AgentBox. They haven't sponsored this live, but I do want to say they have sponsored my events before. I think they do a fantastic job making agents and principals clear about where they're going, clear about their performance, being able to track their conversion rates. I'm so sorry I still can't see you guys on Facebook, but I love you. Thanks for your love. Thanks for your messages. When I chatted with Eddie, who's the CEO for AgentBox, I said to him, Eddie, what's your value proposition? If I'm an agent and I sign up with your CRM system, how many hours a week does that save me? And he said, we've worked it out to be about 10. Here's what I know though. Most of my clients are still migrating to using their tools and resources and systems 100% of the time. And think about, too many people have you've got notes on your computer, you've got notes in your journal, you've got notes on your phone. Make sure you have one place for something, and whatever you use it 100%. There was a time when I was having notes on Trello, notes in email, and messaging my assistant on Slack, and we had just too many platforms for too much communication and had to simplify stuff. So what systems, tools, and resources do you currently have in place that you're not utilizing, and how can you utilize it more effectively to save you time? Potentially just one CRM system can save you 10 hours a week. And if you saved 10 hours a week, what could you do with that? How much more prospecting, how many more lives could you change, and how much more appointments and listings and sales could you take? So reflect today and over the weekend. What systems are you not using fully? Where are you trying to reinvent the wheel? What diary are you not using? What calendar are you not using? What apps on your phone are you not using effectively? Are you using voice recorder to capture stuff? How are you capturing your ideas? How are you scheduling your social media posts? Ask yourself how you can be more efficient to give you time to really achieve your goals for Q2 this financial year. I also spend a lot of time with clients, helping them leverage and build raving fans and generate greater leads. And this is about understanding the difference between your end user of your products and services, a la vendor, buyer, landlord, tenant, and your ideal client. There is a difference. Now, one of my business mentors many years ago taught me and the rest of us in the classroom that one of the most expensive parts of business is finding and keeping a new client. Think about it, especially if you're in real estate. You've got to generate everything. You've got to generate a client, you've got to generate a property, you've got to generate the dollars for marketing, you've got to generate the buyers, you've got to generate the activity, the business, the energy. Everything exists in air until, boom, it's sold. That takes a long time. And a little side note, according to CoreLogic RP data, a vendor's confidence in their agent of choice from the moment they sign the authority to when the house is sold drops by 47%. That means all that hard work that you did to get that client, if you're not servicing them correctly, if you're not holding their hands, matching those peak emotional states and being your word and having integrity and keeping that service beautiful and not over-promising and under-delivering, if you don't do all of those things, you're going to have to generate 50% of clients again because you're not going to retain them and they're not going to refer you. So that's a critical part of business. So just a little side note. Now, if the most expensive part of business is finding and keeping a new client, and that takes a lot of time and energy, what I'm sharing, I've been doing this a lot with my clients, is consider what's more efficient and effective is to build strategic alliances with what I call ideal clients. Now, ideal clients are someone that has a big funnel, right? This is your end user. This is the vendor, client, landlord, and tenant. These are the people that are going to use your products and services. Okay, expensive to talk to these people one at a time, right? One phone call, one open for inspection at a time. These people, your ideal clients, they're full of lots and lots of these people. Who are they? Who are they? Have a guess. Type it in if you know. Mortgage brokers, financial advisors, conveyancers, accountants, solicitors, property developers, people that have a lot of people on their database that are interested in real estate. So I'm all about leverage. I'm all about how can we get the greatest result in the least amount of time. That's how to do it. So my invitation to you today is create a database of all the local strategic alliances that you could set up. Create a database of all the mortgage brokers, financial advisors, conveyancers, solicitors. Does this make sense? And then go and take them for a coffee. Go and chat with them. And give before you get. Ask them what's the biggest challenges that they're facing with their clients, meaning the end user, and how can you be of service? Can you be added to their EDM every week with video content on market updates? Can you give them information about what to consider when investing in property? Can you just be the little red caboose that attaches to their train that is already going somewhere rather than reinvent the wheel? That's what great entrepreneurial agents do, is they leverage off trains that are already heading somewhere. So that's my invitation. There's a difference between the end user and the ideal client. Does that make sense? Hey Rabs, great to have you here too. And finally, I've got a few more things, but I'll end it here. I still invite you to have courageous conversations. A lot of my coaching this week was really talking with people about the conversations where they need to complete stuff with others. Everything is energy, so whether it's personally or professionally, if you've got funk or friction or a lack of connection in the frequency with others, consider there's something incomplete. There are 3 causes for upset, 3 main reasons we get upset. If you've got pen and paper and you're not driving, write these down. The 3 reasons we get upset is unmet expectations, withheld communication, and an interrupted intention. Think about it. If you're currently upset with anyone, at work, at home, in your community, or life, was there an expectation that you had that they didn't meet? Are you withholding communication around something? Or did something interrupt your intention of being connected with them? And then I want you to ask yourself, how are you 100% responsible for that outcome? See, too many of us blame others for why we don't have the things and the results and the benefits that we desire. Every time we're pointing the finger at somebody else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at us that are me, myself, and I. When you stand in, I'm 100% responsible for the relationships, the quality, my financial results, my health, wealth, connections, leadership, business performance, connection with others, as I said before. That gives you access to be empowered, because responsibility truly means the ability to respond. When you're naming, blaming, and shaming, you have no power. You remain a victim of circumstance. So if you're upset and people haven't met your expectations, you're withholding communication, or something happened outside of your control, I'm inviting you today to be courageous. I'm inviting you today to pick up the phone or take that person for coffee and say, you know what? I'm really committed that we have a great working relationship, or marriage, or child-parent relationship, or friendship. And I just feel like there's some friction or clunkiness between us. And I want to know if there's anything there for you that you haven't communicated, that so we can come back together and connect. And the amount of people I've had this conversation with today that took on the challenge and took on the conversations, I had lots of follow-up phone calls yesterday. They have, yes, exactly, Kate, I'm curious. Kate and I, we had one of these conversations, didn't we, Kate? I'm curious. Oh, man, that's, actually that distinction, Kate, is I'm going to add that to Mindset Mastery Monday. Yeah, I won't name what it is now for confidentiality reasons, but that's you just triggered my memory. Thank you. So where can you have courageous conversations, and where can you approach people today and say, hey, I'm curious, things don't feel the same between us. Is there anything that you want to say, or anything that I've done to offend or upset you? Let's have a conversation and get it clear. So I hope you got some value out of some of those distinctions. That's just a beautiful challenge. Yes, it is a beautiful challenge. Like, here's the thing. The thing that we crave the most is connection. when we're on our deathbed and when journalists have interviewed people who are dying, no one says, I wish I worked harder. No one says, I wish I had more money. No one says, I wish I, was skinnier. They all say, I wish I told the people in my lives how much they meant to me and how much they mattered. I wished the people that I spent my time with knew how much I loved them. I wish I had better relationships. We're here for a short time when you think about it. Don't waste your time and energy holding grudges, energetically creating toxins in your body, being in conflict. Be brave, be courageous, be committed to connection, even if that